Building up authority. Wow, a huge topic. What at this moment in the market is being performed in all kinds of ways.
Absolutely.
How do you build up authority? Well, you can create content, or you can do all kinds of things, and it's a topic that we're going to discuss.
Yeah, and I think first of all, what is authority? What is authority in your market area?
I think authority is that you show that you have an expertise in the market.
Yeah, so that let's say the majority recognizes you as somebody who has something valuable to say about a certain topic.
Yeah.
Like that?
What do we want to create? We want to create a recognition, what you're saying, authority in the market, so people will find you interesting. They will start considering you to want to hire you. That you are the expert in your niche or in your market segment, right?
So if somebody has an issue with something or wants to develop themselves on a certain topic, who are they going to listen to? And that person that has actually the majority is the expert in in their field.
Well, the funny thing is, if you check out data on the internet, I have here a tablet in front of me. Research from HubSpot. It was in 2020 already was noticed that 52% of the business market had access to the mobile phone. Well, at this moment it's around 70%. So it means that a whole lot of build-up of authority happens online. That's just the fact it is. So everybody who says, well, I don't want to go online, or I don't believe in it, or I believe more on the one-on-one contact. Okay, that's possible. Fact is that your market at this moment searches online, at least 80% searches online. Should they be looking for a solution for their problem?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. There are people like we used to that are still depending on referral marketing. So I advise you to contact this and this person, but the majority is now contacting people they find online.
Yeah, well, this is a nice one you start about referral marketing, because you see in the States, a lot of organizations have that as their main way of lead generation. Referral marketing is there there made to a whole profession, way more than in Europe. So Europe can definitely learn a lot about the States in that. What you do see is that in Europe, the online engagement, the online lead generation is more developed. More about real personal relationships instead of the advertising kind of campaigns. So, if we go further on building up authority, we have a few themes that we're going to cover, and in the theme of today, we're going to cover your profile.
So that is everything they find online about you.
Yeah, because what you already indicated, people will start searching for a solution for the problem. About 80% is going to look online. Maybe ask a neighbor or ask someone in their business network who would be a professional for them. But they will check out your profile even earlier nowadays than the website. Website is still also important, but there are already quite some organizations, smaller organizations, who don't even have a website anymore.
That is correct. So if we talk about profile, that is all profiles, or are we just talking about Facebook or LinkedIn? I think in B2B it's 99% is
agreed.
LinkedIn.
It depends on your target audience. What we always say is, where your target audience is, so should you be. And we work mostly with B2B organizations, so we focus on the LinkedIn profile.
Okay,
that's mostly. Also, because actually the LinkedIn profile, if you compare it to the profile on Insta, or the profile on Facebook, or the profile on TikTok or YouTube, that sort of covers Twitter,
all social media platforms.
then we almost have everything covered. LinkedIn has actually the most extensive profile that you can have.
Yeah, and what you find on LinkedIn is what has somebody achieved up till now. So you can see much more history and therefore proof of what they can do than on a more on another social media platform.
What is although interesting to realize is that your LinkedIn profile, it's not your resume.
No.
I'm aware that LinkedIn started like that. I put my resume on it, so every job that I had in the past, I'm going to put on there. Nowadays, the LinkedIn profile is more recognized as being your positioning. So you decide what you put on there, and I'm not saying that you should lie on it, of course not, but it is something that what you put on there helps in your positioning, in your personal and your professional profiling. So did you do a project, or did you work somewhere, or did you have an organization what doesn't match your positioning at this moment, then it is okay to leave it out. Or to not develop it more.
Yeah, and it is you tell on your LinkedIn profile what you can do for people and not about yourself.
Yeah, so your LinkedIn profile is not about you, it's all about your target audience.
It sounds really funny, but it started off that I put your resume on there. It has now converted to the B2B Rolodex. If you've got a problem, then the experts and are having a social media platform or LinkedIn profile, which is about the problem they can solve.
The funny thing is that the first time we said that, I think it was in an emailing, and I got quite some response of people. They were offended because they worked very hard on the profile and they were proud of everything they had achieved. And we were saying that your profile is not about you, but it's about your target audience. They felt offended. The thing is, we as people, as human beings, we are very self-minded, and we're very. It's all about us. And as long as you, as a service or a product provider for your clients, you need to be aware that also your clients are self-centered. So when they visit your profile, they are curious to know what you can offer them.
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me in the biggest one.
That's they are looking for a solution. Maybe not actively, but maybe passively. Okay, I know what if they find your profile, I know what you can do for them. That's So.
What I do like about the LinkedIn profile is that you can put now so much data in it, or information, or also graphic components.
And it's searchable. So you can find on a LinkedIn profile what somebody did in the past and how their career was built up.
Well, the more we're talking now about the LinkedIn profile, I actually have become more enthusiastic about it, because I never realized so strongly how it is actually more a personal brochure.
It is,
because you can stuff it with all kinds of. Remember the first LinkedIn profile. There were no graphics in it. You couldn't put any images in it. It was only your name, and you could put all your information in it, as in where you worked, what projects you did. But that was it. And if you check it now, that's going to be nice. I'm going to check out the first profiles, and LinkedIn was started in around 2006. I know I had to research this that I started in October 2007, and I think it started at 2006, something like that. So I'm going to find the first LinkedIn profile, and then the now, before, after.
That's fun.
It's going to be a fun one, because you can add videos now, you can add pictures, you can put in documents, you can tag your latest post in there. You have so many graphical elements, actually.
Yeah, it's what we expect from a social media platform, or
as wide as it is. Yeah.
as wide as it is.
Okay, but if then we go back to building authority.
Yeah.
How, because building authority is also realizing that you are or that person is the expert.
Mm-hmm.
That's also an option that you have on your profile. You can put there the recommendations or the testimonials of clients. Or
Very
you
important.
Put there, or you ask people to get them there.
I think we usually or quite frequently forget asking other people to put on your LinkedIn profile what you did for them.
Yeah.
And it is very valuable, not only if you sell your business, if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, or that you have something in a product or service way to offer, but also for if you look at it as a resume, if you want to go from one employer to the other employer, let your past employer tell you what a good employee you were. It doesn't really matter what kind of relationship you had.
Well, it helps if you had a good relationship.
Oh yeah.
So, but if you look at the theme authority, where you can see back is actually posts that you made, videos that you had, or presentations that you had. Of course, the recommendations, that is other people telling you how great you are, but you can also add that with using videos or a presentation or a lecture that you had somewhere. You can add that also to your profile. What is important in that? Let other people tell how great you are. Of course, you're great, but also show what kind of activities you did, making you that expert. If you can show that you did several presentations, or that you had a book, or that you have a podcast, or that your YouTube video channel is filled with all kinds of valuable information.
It's so important if you, especially if you are delivering a service, because the service is very difficult to describe. A product is something you can hold in your hand. A service is more what's the end result.
Yeah.
And that is not the same for everybody. So what better way to tell a prior client what you solved for them in their words? Because if that is accessible for your new clients, they can have that mental image in their head, the picture. Okay, if I go and do business with you, then I'm gonna be rid of my issues which I have here. And that's all we want. You are a problem solver for somebody. You only need to tell it. If you keep it to your, let's say, your job description, which says maybe you're just a CAD designer or is a programmer, then it doesn't really tell you what your expertise is.
You know what? The more we talk about it, the more I realize and get really enthusiastic about it. Is that it is actually a personal brochure.
It is,
and that you can add so much to it. Only the art is, I think, making it less shouting and just thumping how great you are. So that you can add your creativity in such a way that it's engaging for your visitors on your profile. Oh, and an important thing, you don't immediately sell your entire product. The objective of your profile is to get into contact with people. That's it. Not selling completely, because the main objective of LinkedIn is finally going from online, getting on the table to chat with a person. So you don't have to sell your whole organization on your LinkedIn profile. The only thing you have to sell is the next step in your sales funnel.
Correct, and that's I think is a mistake. That's a lot of people who are now working on their LinkedIn of their online positioning. They are not realizing that it's just a small step that you have to take, but you need to make it very, very clear.
Yeah. So work on your authority in building your profile. Check it out every month because in a month a lot of things happen. And maybe ask someone else to check it out. How much authority does your profile give you? Good luck with that, Don. Thank you.
Bye bye.